What a headshot! What a head!
How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own team selection for the upcoming Game Week 35. So even though Game Week 34 has not concluded yet, we still do have Brentford taking on Nottingham Forest coming up tonight. But because the deadline's tomorrow, a quick reminder, Friday night deadline, yes, please remember, I wanted to create my team selection just to give you guys some talking points before the deadline stream. So if I do see you guys there again, please remember, it's a Friday night deadline. I'll be going live with the deadline stream about 1 hour before the deadline, or just have notifications on for YouTube or Twitter, as I will announce when I do go live. But in this video, I'll be going through a bunch of talking points, a quick review of how Game Week 34's blank went, my current team selection, my transfer plan, as well as the projected clean sheets and projected goals. I'll also be talking about the potential double Game Week 36 as of recording this, which is going to be on Thursday afternoon. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but that could change tomorrow before the deadline. So if you guys want to see all those talking points, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So the first talking point is just going to be a very quick review. If you guys want a more in-depth analysis, go check out my transfer plan I released, I think on Monday. But I'll just be going over my current rank and the current points scored. So as you guys can see on the right hand side there, a total of 88 points scored. I have no players yet to feature, and that's going to take us to just within the 50k mark, which is going to be 46k. Now I do think the rank is going to drop tonight. I think Mbumo, Brentford, Nottingham Forest options are quite popular, especially with those of you that didn't choose to use the free hit. So this rank will definitely drop, but don't worry, in the deadline stream I'll be giving you guys the most up-to-date rank. I just hope all your players blank tonight, especially Mbumo, who's first on my bench. Now he won't be coming off the bench because my entire starting 11 did feature. I was just happy that Konate got a 2-pointer, as if he hauled, Mbumo was basically guaranteed to get points. Jose Sa, Sessegnon, 12, 11 points respectively, super high scores. Unfortunately, I went with Nick Pope between the sticks. Now both got the clean sheet, Jose Sa obviously with the penalty save and the extra save points, but my defense overall was pretty clutch this free hit. So Aït-Nouri, Trippier both getting double-digit returns, and for Kukureya only the 6-pointer, but still happy with the clean sheet. Then our midfield department, happy I went with Mo Salah, got the 8-pointer double to 16, and then Luis Diaz also scored a goal for the 7-pointer. Now 2 returns from 5 goals is pretty disappointing, but I guess I've got to take the points that I can. Kluivert and Palmer were the disappointments of the free hit, but I guess there wasn't that many other midfielders to go for besides Mbumo, so let's see what he can do tonight, but let's hope that he blanks. Then finally up front, Isaac also scored, but missed a few big chances, therefore no bonus points, unlike Cunha, who had a massive haul. So there was some speculation before the deadline, is Cunha actually going to start? Happy I went for him, as 15 points is definitely going to help the score and the green arrow. Finally though, ending the free hit team on disappointment, Raul Jimenez with a blank and a yellow card. Could have gone for a few other options, but I thought the Southampton fixture was going to be quite a good one for Fulham. So even though Raul Jimenez is a bad point, the overall free hit was a success, pretty happy that I went for it. If you guys did the same, how many points did you guys score? I've even seen a few hundred clubs. As mentioned though, the rank will drop tonight after the game is going to be concluded, and I'll announce that in the deadline stream of how far it does go down. But to conclude, blank Game Week 34, you guys can let me know in the comments down below how many points you guys scored, as well as what the overall rank is looking like on your guys' side. Always interested to see how you guys are keeping up this Premier League season. Now before we go over the actual team selection, I want to go over a bunch of talking points relating to the transfer plan, and the first one is going to be a potential double Game Week 36 announcement. So because of the FA Cup final, which is going to now be Man City vs Crystal Palace, that is going to be a blank in Game Week 37, and therefore a potential double in Game Week 36 if the Premier League moves the fixtures. Now the first thing I want to say is there is a scenario, and that's actually looking the most likely, that the games just stay in Game Week 37. They'll just be played a few days later or a few days before potentially. Now the other thing that's come up has been a request from Spurs. They are going to be in the European competitions. They've put a request in to potentially move their Game Week 37 fixture, to give them enough time to prepare for the final if they do progress. So with those two scenarios, the FA Cup plus the request of Spurs to move their fixture, we could potentially have a few double game week fixtures. So on screen right now, you guys are going to see the results if the Premier League does kind of approve both requests. And that's going to be Man City, Bournemouth, Palace and Wolves having a double because of the FA Cup final, and then Spurs and Aston Villa doubling because of Spurs' request to move the fixture. Now as mentioned, all of these could actually not take place. We could just have a set Game Week 36 and Game Week 37. So that's why I'm waiting as long as possible to do my transfers, because clarity on this is going to be quite important. So as of now, as of recording this video, there's been no news, but that could literally change maybe even tonight. In terms of the fixtures, you guys can kind of analyze them if you want to. I don't want to go over them too much as they might not happen, but these 6 teams might potentially double in 36 and therefore blank in 37. So it's almost kind of a double-edged sword there. You're getting the bonus of a double, but you're going to be getting a blank. And that's why if you guys have the free it's still available, you're probably hoping for double Game Week 36. Now because no news has come about, there is a pretty set transfer that I'm looking to make, a pretty popular one this week, and that's going to be Saka out for Mbeumo. This just kind of makes sense. At the moment, I don't think Saka will be playing against Bournemouth at home. Now that PSG have beaten them in the first leg, I think it's going to be mass rotation in preparation for the second leg. And even after that, it's Liverpool away, and they probably won't have hangovers anymore. So for me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I feel a little bit bad now. It was a complete waste to actually go for Saka in double Game Week 33, but I guess it is what it is. Now, if you guys don't like Mbeumo, already own him, someone like a Jared Bowen could also be quite attractive. West Ham, similar to Mbeumo, will have mass rotation this week. What I mean by that is, for example, just check the fixture there, Manchester United at home, in between the European competition semi-finals. The same with West Ham taking on Spurs, who are also in the Conference League. So like Arsenal, I think there's going to be mass rotation in Game Week 35 for these European competition squads. And therefore Mbeumo and Bowen should be facing really kind of rotated defenses. Just makes both of them very good options if they're on set pieces, penalties, that sort of thing. And that's why this move almost seems like a no-brainer with the good Brentford fixtures from now till Game Week 38. Now another talking point I also want to go over before the team selection is going to be the projected clean sheets and projected goals. Always find these super useful, and this week with that mass rotation, there's some very spicy differential teams. So let's go over the clean sheets. First of all, we're going to be going over the ratings similar to the FPL colors, except no one-rated fixtures here. And I won't lie to you guys, this week there aren't that many great clean sheet fixtures. The best ones are going to be Everton versus Ipswich, but not many of us do own an Everton defender. Otherwise, Guardiola hopefully gets a clean sheet. There's going to be a bit of a drop-off from those two teams to someone like a Brentford. As you guys can see, now we're seeing the effects of this mass rotation. 35% is pretty high for Brentford. Also, inversely, Arsenal have a pretty low projection at 29%, also similar, and also due to that mass rotation threat. I mean, Arsenal and Crystal Palace having the exact same clean sheet odds, there must be a problem there. And that's what I was mentioning, a top 5 team having only 29% isn't too fantastic. Now another fixture I also want to point out is going to be Liverpool, so the odds are not projecting Liverpool to keep a clean sheet, only 15%, which puts them in the bottom 5 teams. Now I don't really know if I agree with this. I think there might be celebrations, yes, for Liverpool, but I don't exactly think their form is going to dip that much. And Chelsea could also rotate with the European competition fixtures. The only thing about Chelsea is they have to kind of compete for these top 5 spots for the Champions League. And that's why you're also going to see some other teams like an Aston Villa having good projections. Unfortunately though, Leicester and Southampton are facing each other this week. It's going to be a relegation battle, although both teams are already relegated. Would it be nice if those two fixtures were split up to give us some better matchups? But this week just looks like a complete disaster if I'm honest with you guys. I mean, Brighton, Newcastle, both teams have low projected odds. So it could be worth just going for Isaac as your captain, as there might be goals there. But some good fixtures, some bad ones, some ones that are so close to call don't exactly know what's going to happen. Let's see if the projected goals give us some more clarity. Now this week, if you guys want to target the high scoring fixture, it's going to be Man City. Could Mamush actually be the best Campsy option? 2.4 projected goals for them. Next up is going to be Brentford though, a player we just bring in. Are we going to captain Mbeumo? That could be the question. The odds are definitely favouring Brentford against that heavily rotated United squad. Not a great sign for my team there, Crystal Palace in the pink with 1.43, similar to Arsenal at 1.6 against Bournemouth. So honestly, this week is going to be super tough to call. I'd probably say if you guys have an Aston Villa asset, they might be quite sensible, as like Chelsea, they're still chasing those Champions League spots. Also do want to say that Newcastle are quite close here at 1.75, similar to West Ham. They just edged out by Chelsea, but the projected goals this week aren't too high, and that's just because of the matchups. Definitely worrying signs though for Arsenal if you guys own their attackers or the defenders. I guess you just have to hope if they don't start, they don't come off the bench. You guys can pause this if you want to, but now let's go over my team selection. Could there be some potential changes based on these numbers? Definitely an interesting talking point to go over how Arsenal have dropped off in terms of win percentage. So now let's go over my team, and I'm basically going to lock in the Mbeumo for Saka transfer at the current moment, which gives me 0 free transfers but 4.2 in the bank. Now this could all change if you do get that confirmation about double game week 36, so I would recommend maybe holding off on those moves for as long as possible. Hopefully they don't bait us by releasing them after the game week 35 deadline. So the bench this week is probably going to be relied on a little bit, not too worried about that though because Murphy, Byrne and Williams all have good fixtures. So I think if any of them come off the bench there could still be points there. Defensively though, I do own 3 attackers at the moment for Crystal Palace, so I kind of hope Neco Williams does concede. And you guys just saw those Newcastle clean sheet percentages. So currently starting Martinez between the sticks, do like the fact that Aston Villa still have something to play for. And as our Jimenez owner last week, I know that Fulham aren't that impressive. Then in the backline targeting the highest clean sheet odds with Guardiola, let's just hope he does well. And then I've got the double up with Saliba plus Kirill. Now my logic here is that I do kind of hope both of them do play. I think out of the defenders, they're the most likely players to feature, as you do want your centre back pairing to get a bit of consistency. Now do I think both of them do start? Probably not. I think that maybe one of Saliba or Kirill will start this one. And even if they do, I don't see many clean sheets here. The only threat for me is going to be the fact that I don't own a Bournemouth attacker, so I hope that they blank. And inverse, I hope that Arsenal do keep a clean sheet. So let's see what happens. I mean, Dan Burn could come off or Neco Williams, that's perfectly fine. Let's see where the projections do lie come Friday afternoon. Then on midfield department, I do kind of feel like Salah might actually be a Campsey option. As with Liverpool winning the Premier League, he's going to be chasing those individual records. I think we did also see it in that game against Spurs that the Liverpool players were kind of targeting Salah for those goals. So I do kind of feel like he could do well in these last few weeks. At the moment though, will probably be my vice captain against Chelsea. I just want to see how Chelsea perform tonight in the Conference League. Then I'll be taking kind of a little bit of a risk here. I'm starting both Eze plus Sarr against Nottingham Forest. Could this be a mistake? If you guys could, would you actually play Murphy? He might be the better option, I just can't choose between Eze and Sarr at the moment. I was hoping that Crystal Palace continue this form after the FA Cup semi-final. Then our last midfielder Mbeumo is actually going to be our captain against United so far. It does seem like the pretty tempted option to actually look at. Like Salah is on set pieces, is on penalties, I just kind of feel like United might be worse defensively, especially with all that rotation they're probably going to be having. So like I said, seems like the most popular option, but Salah will have a healthy effective ownership. So let's see where that comes by the deadline. Then up front, Isaac against Brighton. Eddie Howe said that he's not in the best of form, which I do agree with, but at least he's still kind of ticking along with the goals. He could also be a captain consideration if you guys do want to go there, has a very high effective ownership. And like the odds are saying, there's going to be goals in this Brighton fixture. I think for me it might be between Mbeumo and Isaac at the moment in terms of punt potential, as with Chelsea having something to play for, they might set up quite defensively at home. Otherwise Mateta against Forest, similar with Eze and Sarr, there could be a debate to actually bench him with the minutes not being that secure, and with nothing to play for, maybe Nketiah starts this one. So that could be a decision to make closer to the deadline after the press conference, but currently I'm just hoping that he scores with no Nottingham Forest defense starting. Then the final player, Mamush, originally was my captain, but now bringing in Mbeumo and with the Erling Haaland threat, I think Mbeumo might just be safer. So if you guys don't know, Erling Haaland has returned to training with Man City. Don't exactly know when he's going to be starting a fixture, but he might be subbed off the bench. So for me that just kind of deteriorates Mamush's appeal slightly, as it seems like Kevin De Bruyne has been playing the false nine anyways. But it's enough to not captain, it's enough to keep though. I still feel like he could do well against that Wolves side at home. And like with all of these teams, Man City's still chasing those Champions League spots. So with that transfer made of Saka to Mbeumo, I do feel like the team is looking slightly better. There might be mass rotation with those Arsenal defenders, but at least we have some coverage. And I can't see them coming off the bench if they don't start this one. So yes, we could potentially take a hit if we do get some early team sheet news or some press conference news, but at the moment I think the team is looking pretty settled. So in the comments down below, what transfer plan are you guys doing? What moves are you making for Game Week 35? I'm just hoping for a green arrow this week. But this is basically everything, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please like it and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Notifications on for the deadline stream reminder. It's dropping tomorrow. Make sure that you guys don't miss the deadline. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.